Welcome. Today, we're doing something a bit different. We're not doing our usual analysis.
No.
Instead, we're going to share some stories, some really unsettling experiences that people have, that they've shared online.
Right. These are personal accounts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think of it like those stories you tell that just stick with you, make you feel a bit uneasy.
Yeah, the kind that make you check over your shoulder, maybe.
Definitely. And these stories, they cover a lot of ground. Potential danger, things that just can't be explained, and some really, really disturbing privacy violations.
It's striking how ordinary life can just flip into something terrifying in these narratives.
It really is.
Yeah.
So let's start with one from someone's childhood. A young girl, new town,
Yeah.
and a friendship that, it takes a very dark turn.
That feeling of being new, trying to connect,
Yeah.
it makes a setup feel quite vulnerable.
So this girl, she moves with her dad, makes friends with a slightly older girl nearby. Not best friends, but, knew the same crowd. One night, this older girl is babysitting her younger brother. Their mom's at work. And here's the detail. She's helping out a woman whose sister just got out of a mental institution.
That detail hangs there, doesn't it? Sort of foreshadows instability.
It really does. So there's a knock at the door. The older sister thinks it's her mom. Apparently, her mom had a special knock.
Okay, I think she knows who it is.
But it wasn't her mom. It was the sister from the institution.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She'd found out where they lived, talked to her own sister, the one the mom was helping. She even knew the mother's work schedule.
That's killingly calculated.
And what happened next was just horrific. This woman, Delaney, she murdered the oldest sister right before Christmas.
Oh, no.
The story's graphic. It mentions, decapitation trial. And the weapon found among the Christmas presents.
God, the contrast, Christmas presents, and that just makes it even more shocking.
The little brother, he managed to get away. Called the police. The person telling the story, the younger friend, wasn't even allowed to go to the funeral. Just awful.
It's just, shows how fragile everything can feel, how one person's actions can just devastate everything.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit.
Yeah.
Our next story, it's a different kind of fear, more of a creeping dread. This one involves the narrator's wife's grandmother.
Okay.
This is about 15 years ago. Her husband had recently passed, and she started volunteering at the local library. Keep busy, see people.
A library.
Yeah.
It seems like such a safe, quiet place usually.
Right. But this was winter, so her walk home about a mile through a sort of lightly wooded bit in South Texas, it would get dark pretty early.
A mile in the dark.
One evening, she notices this man walking behind her, same direction. He starts gaining on her. Now, she's an older woman, so maybe not instantly alarming, but she said something felt wrong. Menacing.
That gut feeling. You just know sometimes, don't you?
Exactly. He gets closer. Really close. Right behind her. She could almost feel his breath, the story says. She knew something was wrong. Her house was just up ahead. She could see the driveway.
So close to safety.
But about 50 yards out, she feels a hand grab her shoulder.
Oh, okay. The threat becomes physical.
And the man speaks. Something like, "Okay, bitch, don't turn around and give me your purse or I'll cut you."
Terrifying.
But this grandmother, recently widowed, walking home alone. She didn't freeze. She took a step forward, turned around, and shot him. In the neck. With a .38 she kept in her purse.
Wow. Just, wow. Talk about unexpected. Self-preservation kicking in.
Absolutely. The man, he survived initially. Spent 5 years in a prison hospital, then died. But the narrator adds something. Chilling. His wife's grandmother, right up until she died last year, regretted shooting him too soon.
Regretted. Too soon.
They don't say
Complex. The psychological toll, even when it's self-defense, must be immense.
Yeah. Heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to another childhood story. This one's from the narrator himself. He was like 8 to 11, maybe? Your older sister, about 7 years older, used to babysit them.
Okay.
And she was a smoker. So she'd always go outside for a cigarette. Sometimes he'd go out with her.
Just a normal suburban routine, seems like.
Totally. Until one day, his sister notices this white SUV parked at the end of their driveway. It had really dark tinted windows, a bike rack on the back. Couldn't see inside at all.
Just sitting there.
Yeah, it would just sit there while she smoked. Then, when she went back inside, it would drive off, go down to the church parking lot nearby, and just wait until she came out for another cigarette. Then it would come back.
Okay, that's not random. That's targeted. And creepy.
Super creepy. At first, his sister, trying to be tough, she just ignored it. But it kept happening. The next day, the day after.
Yeah.
Just sitting there, watching her. Even if the narrator was watching it from the window, it didn't care. It stayed.
The fact that they didn't care about being seen makes it even more unnerving. Like they felt untouchable.
Right. So they told their dad. He was actually a sheriff's deputy. He reported, called it in. But by the time a patrol car got there, the SUV was gone.
Of course. Vanished.
Months go by, like maybe 9 months. Then, one day, it's back. It starts happening regularly again. Same routine.
Just resumes the pattern. Persistent.
So one day, his sister decides she's had enough. She's going to confront them. She tells the narrator, stay in the carport. And she starts walking down the driveway towards the SUV.
Oh, brave, but maybe risky.
Yeah, well, she only made it halfway. She said this wave of fear just washed over her. A really strong feeling that she'd be in serious danger if she kept going. So turned around, came back.
That instinct again, the psychological pressure of being watched like that must have been intense.
Totally. So finally, one night, their family car was in the shop, so everyone was home. Sister goes out for a smoke, and there it is, the SUV. She runs in, tells them to get their dad.
Okay, parents are home now.
Dad grabs the service weapon, doesn't point it, just holds it visibly and walks towards the SUV. The SUV just peels out, tires screeching, gone.
Who's
Dad, being a cop, got the make and model, but the license plate, completely covered in duct tape.
duct tape? Yeah, that confirms it. They didn't want to be identified for a reason. Probably not a good one.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
And they never saw that SUV again after that.
Still leaves you wondering who they were and what they were planning. So unsettling.
For sure. Okay, this next one goes back even earlier in the narrator's life. He was about 4 or 5. His parents had just separated, and he was living with his mom in a first-floor, 2-bedroom apartment.
First floor. Okay. Potentially easier access.
Yeah. And it was summer, so his mom kept a window open in her bedroom, the one right behind the headboard. He often slept in her bed with her.
Right.
So one night, he wakes up, sees their cat standing in the doorway of his mom's room. Now, the door was usually closed, and the cat always slept with them. So that was weird.
The cat's acting unusual. Animals sometimes sense things, they say.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So he's watching the cat and walks into his empty bedroom and starts meowing. That wakes up his mom.
Okay.
In those few seconds, as she's waking up, they both look towards the doorway. And there's a man standing near his bedroom door, just leaving his room.
Oh my God. Inside the apartment.
Inside. His mom, she didn't even think. She grabs him, throws him straight out the screen window onto the grass. And she climbs out right after him, and they just start screaming for help.
Quick thinking. Adrenaline must have kicked in hard.
Had to. Someone called 911. Police came. They checked everything. No forced entry. They figured the guy must have left through the front door, which they found unlocked.
But she locked it.
His mom swore she locked it. Deadbolt in the chain. Every night.
So that's a mystery too. How did he get in then? Adds another layer of creepiness.
Exactly. And it gets worse. About a week later, his mom's cleaning. She opens the closet where the water heater is.
Yeah.
And finds stuff. A notebook with names and drawings in it. Gloves. Gum wrappers.
Oh no, proof. Proof he was there, maybe hiding.
That's what the police thought when they came back. Their best guess was he'd somehow gotten in earlier, hid in that closet, and waited until they were asleep.
The thought of someone hiding in your own home, watching you sleep, that's just profoundly disturbing.
It really is. Okay, next one. This is a personal story from the narrator. Unexplained. Happened in his basement.
Basements. Always a classic setting for spooky stuff.
Right. So he's doing laundry. The light bulb in the far part of the basement, not the laundry room itself, but the area he has to walk through to get upstairs, burns out.
Okay, so part of it is dark.
Yeah. The laundry room was sort of walled off. To get back upstairs, he had to walk through the dark section. He finishes the laundry, dreading it,
Yeah, that walk through the dark bit, I get it.
He leaves the laundry room, gets about halfway across the dark part, and then he hears it.
Here's what?
He described it as a loud cackle, like a witch's laugh, but deep, hoarse, and clear as day right behind him.
Whoa, okay, that's specific. And terrifying, right behind him.
Right behind him.
Yeah.
He didn't stick around to investigate, bolted straight for the stairs, didn't go back down until his dad changed the bulb.
I don't blame him one bit.
And he says he never heard it again, never told his family either, just
Yeah.
one of those weird unexplained things.
Sometimes those are the creepiest. No explanation, just the experience itself.
Yeah. Okay, now for a story from South Korea. Narrator's friend, Minji. She was an English tutor, early 20s.
Okay.
One night, she's tutoring this high school kid pretty late. So late, he misses the last bus home. He lives really far away.
Uh-oh, stranded.
Yeah. So he asks if he can just crash on her floor, take the first bus in the morning. Minji's a bit hesitant, small apartment, but she feels bad. She agrees.
A kind gesture seems reasonable enough.
So they go back. She goes to bed. He puts a blanket on the floor. Then around 2 a.m., the boy wakes her up.
Why?
Says he's starving, really hungry, wants to go to a 24-hour restaurant nearby.
At 2 a.m.? That's odd. And persistent.
Very persistent. Minji's like, just have some ramen I have here, but he keeps insisting, no, let's go out. She's confused, tired, but eventually she gives in. She's okay.
Something feels off about that insistence.
Right. So they get outside the apartment building, and the boy turns to her and says, I'm not actually hungry.
So what was it?
He said, I woke you up because when I looked under your bed, I saw a man sleeping there.
What? Under the bed?
Under her bed. They called the police immediately, and they found him. A homeless man. He had apparently been living under Minji's bed for 2 months.
2 months? Oh my god, how did she not know?
Apparently, he'd only come out when she wasn't there. The boy only saw him because he was down on the floor level. He had a clear view under the bed.
That is beyond creepy, the violation of space for that long. It's horrifying.
Truly horrifying. Okay, next up, a tense road trip story. Driving through a really desolate part of California.
Isolated roads. Always prime for unsettling encounters.
Yeah. The narrator was taking a shortcut, 29 Palms to Albuquerque, goes through this tiny, almost ghost town called Amboy, then over some mountains. Very remote.
Sets the scene. You're out there alone.
It's afternoon. He's coming down through a canyon, high grass on both sides, and he sees something blocking the road ahead.
Okay, what is it?
A red car, a Pontiac Fiero, stops sideways, blocking both lanes. There's a suitcase open on the road, clothes scattered around it, and 2 bodies. A man and a woman, face down on the pavement.
Whoa, that looks bad or staged.
Exactly what he thought. He stopped maybe 100 feet back. He mentions he was a Marine, so his instincts kicked in. He reached for his pistol. Something felt his words too perfect. Like a setup, an ambush.
Smart move. Trusting that instinct in a situation like that is crucial.
He scanned the scene, noticed a tiny gap, just enough space to squeeze past the car and the bodies without hitting anything. He decided to go for it. Put the car in gear, gunned it.
High risk, but staying there felt riskier, I bet.
For sure.
Yeah.
He shoots past the car, past figures lying there, slows down a little once he's clear, looks in his rearview mirror.
What did he see? The 2 bodies were getting up, pushing themselves up to their knees. And then, from the tall grass on both sides of the road, about 20 people just stood up, emerged from the grass.
20 people? Oh my God. It was an ambush. Absolutely. He slammed the gas pedal down, didn't let up until he hit the interstate highway. He says he'll never know what they wanted or what would happen if he'd stopped to help.
Chilling. A terrifying reminder that things aren't always what they seem, especially out there.
Definitely makes you think twice about stopping. Okay, next story involves night fishing.
Okay, another classic setting. Darkness. Water.
Narrator's out with friends. Jang's River, campfire going, sitting by the shore. Pretty standard stuff.
Sounds peaceful enough, initially.
Then suddenly, everyone just stops talking. All at once. Like a switch flipped, he said. And they all got this feeling, like something was staring at them. From across the river, in the dark.
That collective sense of being watched. Primal fear kicking in.
And then, this scream. From the other side of the river, blood-curdling, he described it as.
Yeah.
Like nothing he'd ever heard. Said it sounded like a wild person being gutted alive.
Good lord, that's a visceral description. Terrifying.
Nobody moved, nobody spoke, just frozen. Then a second scream rips through the night, even louder this time.
Okay, now it's not just a weird sound, it's happening again. Louder.
Yeah. At that point, several of the guys apparently sprinted back to their trucks to grab guns.
Can't blame them. Fight or flight kicking in.
They come back, everyone's just sitting there, silent. Watching the firelight reflect on the dark water, staring at the opposite shore. Mm-hmm. And then, the third scream.
Don't tell me it was closer.
It was on their side of the river this time. Came from the bushes, really close by.
Nope.
Time to go. Now.
That's exactly what they did. Everyone just scattered. Ran for the trucks, left all their fishing gear, campfire, everything, just fled.
Smartest move.
As they were driving away, scrambling out of there, they heard it one last time. Just beyond the tree line behind them.
And they never found out what it was.
Never. Just no.
Yeah.
That horrifying sound in the dark. A complete mystery.
Wow. Those unexplained ones really linger, don't they? Leaves so much to the imagination.
They really do. Okay, almost done. Story number 9, start small. Narrator's rushing off to a hockey game, realizes mid-drive he forgot his phone at home. Annoying, but happens all the time.
Right. But he starts worrying maybe he dropped it somewhere, so he borrows his friend's phone in the car. Calls his home number.
Okay, just checking if it rings there.
It rings 3 times. Then someone picks up.
Picks up. Who?
That's the thing. Silence. Just dead air on the other end. Waited, said hello a couple of times. Nothing.
Weird.
He figured, okay, maybe it's his little brother messing with him, playing a prank. So he just hangs up, thinks nothing more of it, goes to the game.
Okay, logical explanation at the time.
Gets home late, house is empty, parents, brother, nobody's there. He calls his parents, finds out they left for dinner and a concert, right after he left for the hockey game. They hadn't been home for hours.
Wait, so if they weren't home?
Exactly. Who answered the phone?
Oh, that is creepy, really creepy.
He said this wave of coldness washed over him. And right then, he hears the back door of the house open and then close.
Someone was in the house. Or just left.
He didn't wait to find out. Ran straight next door to the neighbors, called the police.
Good call. What did they find?
Turns out, the back door had been left unlocked, or maybe slightly ajar. The police figured someone just wandered in, saw the phone ringing, maybe picked it up out of curiosity. Nothing was taken.
Still, the thought that a stranger was just inside your empty house
Yeah.
could have still been there when he walked in. Or worse, if they'd been asleep.
Exactly. It's that violation, that what if. Really unsettling.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, last one. This involves a neighbor, a really problematic neighbor.
Oh, neighbor stories can get intense.
And this guy, he was apparently obsessed with slasher movies, had a weird fixation on the narrator's experiences in Vietnam, but in a disturbing way. And he tortured stray animals.
Okay, red flags everywhere. Major red flags. How old was this guy?
He was 19 at the time this happened. The narrator's daughter was only 7.
That age difference is immediately concerning given the other behaviors.
Yeah. And the neighbor started trying to talk to the daughter on her way home from school over the backyard fence. Then he actually crossed the line. He called their house, asking specifically to talk to the 7-year-old girl.
No. Absolutely not. That's predatory behavior.
The narrator went straight over there, confronted the kid and his parents, told them in no uncertain terms, stay away from my daughter. The parents apparently just told him to stay away.
Terrible response from the parents. Enabling it, almost.
Yeah. So after that confrontation, the daughter starts telling her parents that something is living in her closet at night. She hears noises. But when they check during the day, there's nothing there.
Oh, please don't tell me.
They initially kind of dismissed it, kid's imagination, maybe shadows.
But given the neighbor.
Right. So a few weeks later, the narrator's wife takes the daughter away for a girls' night out somewhere. Narrator's home alone, falls asleep on the couch downstairs.
Okay.
Around 2 a.m., the phone rings. It's the neighbor's father, the creepy kid's dad.
What does he want at 2 a.m.?
He says his son is missing, hasn't come home. And then he adds, I saw you walking around upstairs in your house just now. The lights were on.
But the narrator was asleep downstairs.
Exactly. He knew he'd been asleep on the couch, no lights on upstairs. It was a lie. A weird, manipulative call.
Yeah, trying to create confusion or an alibi, maybe. Something's very wrong.
Narrator hangs up,
Yeah.
immediately suspicious. Goes outside, grabs his shotgun just in case. As he's outside, he sees the sheriff pull up to the neighbor's house. Presumably the dad called him about the missing son.
Okay, police are there.
He goes over, tells the deputies, look, that guy's lying. And I think someone might be in my house. He points up to his daughter's bedroom window. The lights are on now. And he can see a silhouette pacing inside.
Oh my god, he was right. Someone was inside.
The deputies go into his house with him. They go upstairs. They check the daughter's room. And they find him. The neighbor's 19-year-old son hiding in the daughter's closet.
No. Oh, that's horrifying. What did he say?
He told the police he liked to hide in there and watch her sleep in the moonlight.
That is absolutely sickening. The poor girl was right all along.
She was right. It's just, a truly horrifying confirmation of her fears and a terrifying reality about the neighbor.
Definitely the stuff of nightmares.
So yeah, there they are. 10 stories. Just glimpses into moments where things felt wrong or went terrifyingly wrong.
They really highlight that sense of unease, don't they? How
Yeah.
quickly safety can feel threatened sometimes by things we can't explain, sometimes by other people.
Exactly. It makes you think about those little moments of unease you might have felt yourself. What could have been lurking just out of sight.
Leaves you with a lot to think about.
Well, thank you for joining us as we recounted these unsettling tales. If you found these stories compelling, please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs. We'll have more content for you there.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Stay safe out there.